Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima LongHaul RV bike rack here on our 2022 Entegra Vision XL Motorhome submodel 34B. Now, submodel is important because there are slight variations between them, and you want to make sure that this bike rack will fit with your specific model. It is also important to get a bike rack that is motorhome rated, and the LongHaul is. It's built sturdy, and it's built to withstand the extra vibrations and shock that it's going to experience at the back of a motorhome compared to something like a standard passenger vehicle. It is going to be a hanging style bike rack capable of holding up to 4 bikes here. It's going to hold it by the frame, so we do want to avoid our carbon frame bikes because it will damage that frame. And with anything like an alternative frame bike or a kid's bike, we probably are going to need to pick up an adapter bar to make sure it fits properly. We've got our 2 main straps up top. These little zip strips is what they call them. That's just going to hold it down into the cradle and ratchet down. And then we've got a third one on the seat post here to keep our side-to-side movement down to a minimum. You can see as I'm shaking the bike here, we're not making any contact with the motorhome, maybe a bit with the ladder here on that front wheel, but nothing too bad, nothing that's going to damage the bike or the ladder, and that's going to limit the side-to-side movement in our bike-to-bike contact. Now, you do want to be mindful of the weight capacity. We can hold up to 37.5 pounds per bike here, so just be sure that you're not overloading the rack. I'll go ahead and get the bike removed here. You saw earlier, we kind of pinch these tabs in on the side and just lift up on that zip strip, and it comes fully out. So just be sure you're keeping track of these because you don't want to lose them. If you do find that you've lost one, you can pick up replacements here at eTrailer. And with all those removed, we can just lift the bike up and off. And I'll go ahead and set this to the side for now so it's out of the way, and we can get a closer look at the bike rack. If you look in at those cradles, you will see that there's little ridges in them. That's just going to be for our brake cables and things, just so we don't get anything too pinched. And then, like I said, we will just replace these so they're nice and secure and accounted for. They are padded, so it gets a good cushion on the bike frame, and they're pretty easy to install like that. Now, I do want to point out a few things. We do have an integrated cable lock on the back that just kind of slides into the upright portion of the bike rack here. You can feed it through your bikes and lock it to this stud here on the front end of the bike rack right next to the bottle opener. So that's really nice to see. It's nice that it's integrated too because you don't have to worry about forgetting it. And with the bike rack like this, I want to actually go ahead and get some measurements. This cable lock can be a little tricky to feed back in. You can see it's kind of getting jammed up, so you might have to pull it out and re-feed it back in. Just like that, not too bad. And let's get some of those measurements. So I'm going to go from the back end of the motorhome here to the outermost point of the bike rack. And that's going to be right at 35 inches. It does stick out a fair bit, but we can fold it up, or fold the arms down rather, when the bikes are unloaded. We've got this gray button at the top that'll push in, that'll fold those arms down and lock in place right there. That's going to cut our distance added down quite a bit, all the way down to 6.5 inches. So it's really, it sits in further than your ladder already does. So really nice and unobtrusive. If you don't have bikes loaded up and you want to leave this on, you absolutely can. I do want to point out a clearance issue here at the bottom though. We do have just some slight contact right here with this kind of support brace and this portion of our motorhome. It's very minor. When I was putting it in the hitch there, it just barely started to touch it. Just be mindful that if you do go with this option, that will probably wear down the paint over time just with small movements. But that anti-rattle that's included is going to keep it very secure, so I don't think it should be too bad over time. That anti-rattle does also lock, so it's secured in the hitch and it's solid. That ground clearance at the end here is also going to be pretty good. Right there, exactly at 20 inches of ground clearance, more than enough. It sits so close to the motorhome that you're not going to have to worry about it. And overall, if you're looking for a great way to get your 4 bikes to the campsite with you, this is a nice option. It's very solid. Those folding arms are really nice, so it doesn't take up too much room. Just be sure that if you need it, you pick up a bike adapter bar for those other types of bikes. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a great fit for your motorhome here. Thanks for watching.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. And now with the fold speed bumps, these are going to be pretty much like normal speed bumps. You get to see the up and down action of the bike rack and see how it holds up. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on.